Today I want to tell you a story about losing and about a decision that changed everything. It taught me something I'll never forget. There is no insurance in life. Sometimes you get saved from your losses or mistakes you made, but there's no guarantee. There's nothing you can rely on. It started in January 2026 when two friends of mine and I decided to enter a competition. The goal was simple: to build the best startup. Almost 1,000 teams all over Germany participated, and we had 5 months of time to develop our idea. 5 months felt like forever, and that was kind of a problem because there was no pressure, so staying consistent was hard. And then, when the 5 months were over, we waited for the results. We studied the winners from the last year and we thought we might have a good chance to win this actually. But there's always this voice in your head, right? What if you don't? What if you lose? Your friends might not even care, but what are you gonna think of yourself? I couldn't change anything anymore, so I just tried to shut the voice down because feeling bad in advance wasn't gonna help me. And that one afternoon, mid-May, after school, I got an email. We made it into the top 20s out of almost 1,000 teams. And I was amazed. I celebrated in my head. I was so proud. For a second, it felt exactly like I pictured it. But the top 20s wasn't what I was working for. I wanted to be number one. I'm someone who always wants to be number one. Not second, not good enough, number one. I want to be the person that everyone remembers. The top 20s were going to be ranked again, and the top 10 were be able to pitch their idea in front of a jury, and then they can tell who will win this. And I wanted that more than anything. I dreamed almost every night of it, how I would stand in front of hundreds of people and winning this. In my head, I had already won. But then something happened. I got a message. We didn't make it in top 10. And I felt bad. Not angry, kind of sad, but it was heavier than that. When I read it, I was standing at a train station. This week, I had an internship at the bank. And after I read these words, I felt sick, physically sick. My stomach was hurting. And then right after that, it was announced that my train was going to have a delay of 40 minutes, which is pretty usual in Germany, but on top of the message, I would even be late for my internship. So I was just walking up and down the platform and just asking myself, what did I do wrong? Didn't we deserve to be at least in top 10? This was the day where the actual problem, which I wanted to talk about today, started. Because the loss didn't just stay a loss. It started spreading. The next day, I didn't get up for my routine. And you have to understand, this routine meant everything to me. Culture, doing sports, only eat healthy, and this was non-negotiable. I did it for 2 years straight. It was who I was, until it wasn't. And at this part, I have to be honest about you. I'd love to tell you that the will was still there and just that the discipline slipped, but that's not true. Both were gone. The will and the discipline. I didn't want to do any of it. I just lay there and thought, am I an actual loser? Maybe that's just what I am. And every day I skipped, the next day became even easier to skip. The defeat fed itself and I got worse and worse. That's the dangerous thing about losing. It's not just the loss. It's what the loss starts telling you about yourself when you start letting it talk. And then I don't exactly know when a different thought showed up. It wasn't loud, but it was there, and it asked me, how are you actually gonna use this? Because here's what I finally understood. This wasn't a game. This was just one little battle in a much bigger game. And a battle you lose still leaves you a choice. Maybe the only choice that actually matters. Do I let this crush me? Do I let my mistakes pile up and break me? Or do I take all of it, and come back even wiser? That was the real moment, not the loss. The decision after the loss. Which path am I gonna take? And once I chose, I understood something else. No matter how hard you work, there's never a guarantee that you actually win. Never. You can do everything right, all you got for 5 months, stay consistent, and you still lose. We just don't see that because we only remember the winners. We study them, we copy them, we put them on stages, and the ones who just worked as hard as them and lost, nobody thinks of them. They just disappear. But they were there. They just tried as hard as the winners did. That's what no insurance actually means. The effort is real, but the price is never promised. So I started again from the bottom. One morning I started with the sport, the cold shower again, all the little things that fell apart. And let me be clear, this was not a movie moment. The first morning was ugly and slow, and I really didn't feel like doing it. But I got up, and the next morning I got up again. And slowly, very slowly, it came back. But this time it wasn't built on a jury or a competition. It was built on a simple thing. I had decided which path to walk. So here's what I want to leave you with. You are going to lose things you really worked hard for, really hard. There's no insurance against that, not a guarantee waiting at the end. But the loss is never the real moment. The real moment comes right after, when you decide whether the loss makes you smaller or when you decide to use it and come back better than you were before. There's no insurance in life, but there's always a decision. And that one is yours.